There's something strangely familiar that many cat owners have experienced. Their cat suddenly seems different, even before anything has clearly happened. Sometimes, it becomes more attached than usual. Sometimes, it quietly stays close to you for a long time. Sometimes, it avoids you or looks at you with a cautious, uncertain expression, even though you don't think you've done anything differently. Most people assume maybe the cat is just in a bad mood, or maybe it's just being unpredictable. But the truth may go much deeper than that, because cats are not only watching what you do, they're also picking up on the tiniest shifts in your rhythm, your body, your emotions, and your energy in ways most people never even notice. In other words, there are times when your cat may sense that you're tired, stressed, emotionally off balance, or about to go through some kind of change, before you can even put that feeling into words yourself. And once you understand that, you begin to see your cat's mysterious behavior in a completely different way. Part 1. Your cat knows something is off before you're ready to admit it. There are days when you still do everything like normal. You still walk around the house. You still feed your cat. You still check your phone, still sit in your usual spot, still talk like any other day. But deep down, you're tired. Not always in an obvious way. Maybe your mind just feels heavier, more tense, less patient, or maybe your heart is carrying something you haven't said out loud yet. Humans are very good at hiding emotion with words, but the body is not. Your footsteps slow down. The way you sit changes. Your breathing is different from usual. The tension in your shoulders, your hands, even your eyes, all starts to shift, and your cat lives close enough to notice those changes. That's why there are days when your cat suddenly comes closer to you, not by accident, but because it can feel that your familiar system is slightly off today. It doesn't need to understand why you're sad, but it knows you are not the same as you were yesterday. If you've ever had a day like that, and your cat suddenly stayed closer to you than usual, comment 1. Part 2. Some cats stay closer when you're emotionally vulnerable, but others pull away. This is where a lot of people misunderstand cats. When people hear that cats can sense a human's emotional state, they immediately assume, so that means the cat will come over and comfort you, right? Not necessarily. Some cats do move closer. They sit beside you, lean against your leg, lie down near your hand. Some even follow you from room to room. But other cats do the exact opposite. They keep more distance, watch you more carefully, act more cautiously, make less physical contact. And that does not mean they do not care. It simply means that each cat responds to unusual emotional signals in its own way. A confident cat with a strong sense of attachment may choose to come closer, almost as if it is checking in and restoring a sense of safety. A more sensitive cat, or one that has lived through instability before, may step back and observe first. What matters is this: both reactions can come from the same source. Your cat knows something about you is different, and that is exactly why you should never judge a cat's love only by how physically affectionate it is. Sometimes a cat's love is not in how much it cuddles you, but in the fact that it never takes its eyes off you when you are not okay. Part 3. Your cat remembers the normal version of you more closely than you think. People often assume cats are unpredictable. One day they want to be close. The next day they want distance. But in reality, cats remember your routines far more carefully than most people realize. Your cat knows when you usually wake up. It knows when you tend to come home. It knows the way you open the door. It knows the sounds you make when you're happy, tired, or distracted. It knows the rhythm of the house when everything feels normal. And because your cat remembers your everyday versions so clearly, it becomes extremely sensitive when that version changes. You come home a little later than usual. You sit still longer than normal. You do not pet it the way you usually do. You set things down more heavily. You walk past without looking. You sigh more often. To you, those may seem like tiny details. To your cat, they are signals that the familiar atmosphere is shifting. That is why cats often react so quickly to even a small disruption in your rhythm. Not because they are difficult, but because for a cat, stability is part of what makes life feel safe. Part 4. Sometimes your cat is not only reacting to your emotions, but to the tension in the space itself. Most people think emotion exists only in the mind. But to a cat, human emotion does not stay in the mind alone. It shows up in the way you close a door, the way you walk, The way you set a cup down on the table, the way you call its name, the way you move from room to room. When you are stressed, the rhythm of the whole home changes. Everything may still look the same. The chair is still there. The lights have not changed. The sounds may seem familiar, but the energy moving through the home is no longer the same. And cats are animals that live very strongly through their sense of space. They are not only reading you, they are reading the emotional field around you. That is why there are days when a cat does not need to touch you to know something is wrong. The moment you walk into the room, it already feels the difference. Many people call that a cat's intuition, and in a way, that is true. But it is not something mystical. It is the result of an animal that lives through micro-observation, memory of familiar rhythms, and an exceptionally strong sensitivity to change. Part 5. Why cats sometimes show up at exactly the moment you need them most. This may be the part that moves cat owners the most. There are moments when you do not call your cat. You do not hold it. You are not even thinking about it. And then, somehow, it appears. It jumps onto the chair while you are sitting there alone. It lies beside your feet when you are exhausted. It walks into the room right after you have cried. Or sometimes, it simply stays there in silence. Anyone who has lived through this has probably felt at least once that their cat somehow knew. And sometimes the most important question is not whether the cat understood exactly what was happening. It is that the cat noticed a change strong enough to shift its own behavior. Cats do not comfort the way humans do. They do not ask what is wrong. They do not offer soothing words. They do not try to fix your mood. They offer what cats do best: presence. A quiet presence, without judgment, without pressure, without noise. And sometimes that becomes the deepest kind of companionship of all. If your cat has ever shown up right when you were at your most emotionally fragile, comment 2. Part 6. The biggest mistake is assuming cats are emotionally distant just because they do not express love the way humans do. This misunderstanding causes a lot of people to miss the real emotional depth of cats. Humans are used to measuring love through obvious behavior. Who calls for us? Who hugs us? Who runs toward us? Who shows excitement? Cats are different. A lot of a cat's love comes in very quiet forms. It is in the way your cat chooses to stay in the same room with you, in the way it lifts its head every time you move, in the way it notices that today you walk differently, breathe differently, live differently, in the way it adjusts its distance from you based on your emotional state. From the outside, those things seem small, but on a deeper level, they reveal a form of attention that is steady and deeply aware. Cats are not emotionally cold. They simply do not perform emotion in ways that are easy for humans to recognize. They feel through rhythm, they remember through routine, and they respond through subtle shifts. That is exactly what makes a bond with a cat so unique. It is not loud, but it is deep. Part 7. What your cat truly senses about you may not be your thoughts, but your real state. If all of this could be gathered into one single idea, then maybe the most remarkable thing is not that your cat can read your mind. It is that your cat often recognizes your true state before you are even able to explain it in words. Before you say, "I'm overwhelmed today," "I'm sad today," "I'm not okay today," your body has already spoken. Your rhythm has already revealed it. The space around you has already changed, and your cat has already seen it. That is why there are moments when your cat responds to you in ways that feel strange or unexpected, not because it is unpredictable, but because it is reacting to a version of you that you have not fully faced yet yourself. Closing. So the next time your cat suddenly seems different, more clingy, more quiet, more watchful, or strangely distant, do not rush to assume it is just being weird. Try asking a different question. Could it be that your cat is noticing something in you that you have not fully named yet yourself? Because maybe cats do not understand human language, but sometimes they understand the language of your state surprisingly well. And that is exactly why a cat's love feels so special. It is not loud, not always obvious, but very rarely shallow. If this video made you see cats in a different way, comment 1, 2, or 3 on the part you connected with most. Because sometimes, what makes cats feel so profound is not that they are more mysterious than the world around them. It is that they notice the smallest things that humans are usually too distracted to see.